I hope you are so good. And today, Gospel from Thursday, last Thursday. It's about you cannot serve but, but God and Mammon. Mammon. Chapter 14, Detachment of material detachment from earthly possessions. Earthly possessions. Earthly possessions. I hope you are so good and can enjoy this chapter. Uh, from light to spiritism, from French scientist Allan Kardec. I hope you are fine and enjoying the final week. And God bless all of you that have patience to feel necessity to know about this, what I will read for you. It's a clear vision from from commentary from good spirits, high spirits, to turn all more easy to understand what Jesus said and don't have manipulation of human hand here. Kardec was a scientist, but original tests revised for him, but original. When he saw this test to after turn public, the good spirits, high spirits, will say to Kardec how put or how delete some things. For this is so good if you are interested really in understand real gospel of Jesus. Is here. Detachment for earthly possessions. Brothers and sisters, my friends, I have come to bring my small contribution in order to help you advance fast, fearlessly on the path of improvement on which you have entered. We are indebted to one another. We are indebted. It's only through sincere and fraternal unity between the spirits and incarnates that regeneration is possible. Only with true, sincere, and fraternal unity between spirits and incarnates that regeneration is possible. People who don't believe, people who only want the life is only here and after is the end of life, these people don't contribute to possible peace in earth. And regeneration for the soul. Your love for earthly possessions is one of the biggest obstacles to your moral and spiritual advancement. Through this attachment to possessions, you shatter your affective faculties, carrying them over to material things. Be honest with yourself. Does wilt provide an unmixed happiness? Even when your coffers are full, is there nor an emptiness in your heart? Emptiness in your heart, emptiness, sorry, this word. I will read again. Be honest with yourself. Does wilt provide an unmixed happiness? Even when your coffers are full, is there not an emptiness in your heart? At the bottom of that basket of flowers, is there not always a hidden serpent? I understand justifiable satisfaction, not felt by a person who, through diligent and honorable labor, has gained a fortune. However, from this satisfaction, very natural and approved by God, to an attachment that absorbs all other sentiments and paralyzes the impulses of the heart, there is a great distance. Your heart, your heart suffers so much with this. The same great distance that separates sordid, mesalliance and exaggerated wastefulness, two vices between which God has placed charity, that holy and sound virtue that teaches the rich to give without ostentation, so that the poor may receive without feeling debased. I'm reading this the most difficult way. Oh my God. God has placed charity, that holy and sound virtue that teaches the rich to give without ostentation, so that the poor may receive without feeling debased. Whether your fortune has come from your family, or whether you have earned it from your labor, there is one thing that you must never forget. Everything comes from God and returns to God. Nothing on the earth belongs to you, to me, to all of you, all of us. Not even your poor body, not even. That now I ever say to people of arts that we can sell our labor, our work. How? Personas to actor, musicians with instruments, because all them must study. Study the text, study the music, study the chords to make a good work. This with labor we can sell only this. I don't can sell our face. Oh, okay, you come to me, I'm famous. I will ask you money to be in my side for a moment. We don't can make this, because this, only this, is not our body. It's from God. Yes. Our poor body aren't our body. Because when we dead, it disappears. It's true or false? Continue the test. Nothing on earth belongs to you, to me, to all. Not even your poor body, our poor body. That will strip you of it, just as it will all other material possessions. Material possessions is not our possessions. You are trustees, not proprietors. Don't delude yourself. Don't delude yourself. God has loaned them to you, and you will have to return them. And God loans them on the condition that the surplus, at least, should go to those who lack what is necessary. One of our friends, one of your friends, lends you a certain sum. However dishonest you might be, you will scrupulously pay off the loan and you'll be grateful to him. Well, then, that is the position of all who are wealthy. God is the heavenly friend who has loaned, heavenly friend, who has loaned them their riches. He asks nothing for himself, nothing, except love and acknowledgement, but he demands that the wealthy in turn give to the poor, who like the rich are just as much his children. The possessions that God has entrusted to you arouse ardent and frantic greed in your hearts. Have you never thought about the fact that when you are immoderately attached to riches, as perishable and transitory as you yourself are. The day will come when you will have to give an accounting to the Lord for what has come from Him. It's an ask. The day will come when you will have to give an accounting to the Lord for what has come from Him. Have you forgotten that through willed you have been invested with the sacred character of ministers of charity on earth in order to be its intelligent distributors? Have you forgotten that? It's an ask. Invested a true will, you have been invested with the sacred character of ministers of charity on earth, in order to be in its intelligent distributors. Have you forgotten that? Why are you? What are you? What are you then? But unfaithful trustees, when you use solely for your own benefit what has been entrusted to you, what will result from your intentional neglect of your duties? That unyielding and unforgiven will tear away the veil under which you hide, and will force you to give an accounting to the friend who helped you out and who at that moment stands before you in the robe of a judge. It's in vain that you try to delude yourselves while on earth, coloring with the name virtue what is often nothing more than selfishness, that you call saving and foresight, what is only cupidity and greed or generosity, what is nothing but prodigality on your own behalf. For example, the father of a family abstains from practicing charity. He saves and builds up the gold, declaring that he is doing so in order to leave as much as possible to the children so that they will not fall into poverty. That is very just and fatherly, I agree, and one cannot blame him. But is that always the sole motive that guides him? It's not often just a compromise with his conscience in order to justify in his own eyes and the words his personal attachment to earthly possessions. Even so, admitting that his fatherly love is his sole motive, is that any reason for him to forget his brothers and sisters before God? When he already has a surplus, will he leave his children in poverty because they will have a little less of it? Instead, isn't really giving them a lesson in selfishness and hardening their hearts? Instead, it's not stifling in them the love for the neighbor, Fathers and mothers, you are greatly mistaken if you believe that by such means you will increase your children's love for you. By teaching them to be selfish toward others, you teach them to be selfish toward you also. I saw this much times in home of old persons. I know it, so much stories about this. Those who have worked hard and accumulated wealth by the sweat of their brow are commonly heard to say that when money is earned, one grasps its value more fully. Nothing could be truer. Well then, may those who profess to fully grasp the value of money practice share it according to their means, and they will have greater merit than those who, born in abundance, know nothing about the hard fatigue of labor. But on the other hand, in these same persons who remember their sufferings and efforts are selfish and hard toward the poor, they are much guiltier than the others, for the more one knows from personal experience the hidden grief of poverty, the more one should be inclined to relieve it in others. It's or not great information. This, I love this information. Unfortunately, there is always in those who are wealthy a sentiment as strong as their attachment to riches, the sentiment of pride. When the poor implore their assistance, it's not hard to see the newly rich wowing them with tales of their efforts and know-how, instead of coming to their aid and then finishing by saying to them, "Do what I have done." According to them, God's goodness has nothing to do with their wealth. It's an absurd to think this way. All the merit falls solely to them. It's what so much rich have in mind. Their pride casts a veil over their eyes and shuts their ears. In spite of all their intelligence and skill, they don't understand that God undo them with a single word. Squandering one's will does not show a detachment from earthly possessions, but greater carelessness and indifference. As trustees of such possessions, humans have neither the right to squander them nor to confiscate them for their own profit. Prodigality is not generosity, but is often a form of selfishness. See how we like to turn us without seeing our self-made this. You can see ourself all time. Those who scatter their gold by handfuls in order to satisfy a fantasy will not give 1 cent to lend a helping hand. Detachment from earthly possessions consists in appreciating wealth for its true worth, in knowing how to use it for others and not only for oneself, in not sacrificing one's interests in the future life on its behalf, and in losing it without complaining if it pleases God to take it away. If due to unforeseen misfortune you become another job, say as he did, Lord, you have given and you have taken away. How Job, may your will be done. That is true detachment. I will read again. If due to unforeseen misfortune you become another job, say as he did, Lord, you have given and you have taken away. May your will be done. That is true detachment. First, be submissive. Have faith in the one who having given and taken it away can restore it to you once again. Courageously resist the discouragement and desperation that paralyze your strength. Courageously resist the discouragement and desperation that paralyze your strength. Never forget that whenever God causes you to suffer a blow, He always places consolation alongside the hardest trial. Is or not true? It is or not. But remember above all that there are possessions infinitely more valuable that earthly ones. And this dot will help you detach from the later. The less value one contributes to a thing, the less sensitive one becomes to its loss. People who become attached to earthly possessions are like children who cannot see but the present moment. It's so child way to that. Those who don't become attached are like adults who see the things that are most important by understanding these prophetic words of the Savior. My kingdom is not of this world. The Lord orders none to get rid of what they possess and be reduced to voluntary beggary, because then they would become a burden on society. Proceeding in such a manner would be the misunderstand detachment from earthly possessions. It would be selfishness of another type, because it would imply as exempting oneself from the responsibility that will weighs on those who possess it. God grants will to those who seem capable of administering it for the benefit of all. Thus, the rich have a mission which they can render beautiful and advantageous for themselves. To reject wealth when God has given it to you is to renounce the benefits of the good you can do by administering it wisely. This is a good vision and balanced vision. To know how to do without it when one does not have it, to know how to put it to good use when one does, and to know how to sacrifice it when necessary, is to act in accord with the Lord's designs. I construct a great house. I had construct a great house. But I'm not happy inside this house alone. I have afraid. I don't use all in all great house. And a day, the place where the house was, where I construct, I don't like it. I don't like neighbors so different from me. And I asked to God all day, God, give me other place, please. And one day, economic life here in Brazil was so bad. In years of 2016 or 2017, here or in other place where I lived for 20 years, all great empress, all great industry closed your doors. And I, how a musician, teacher, I lose my pupils. I lose my students. And then the only way I saw, and I don't like it, those places, was to buy a house that I had constructed. I and the worker and God. But I must to buy this house. Today I'm so good in a place that I like so much. And the money I'll buy other, and I'm so happy, more happy than in other house. I was in a prison in other house, only because I was construct it. Now I must to learn to detachment, this material possessions. It was my house. I will summarize it by saying, know how to be content with little. If you are poor, don't envy the rich, because wealth is not necessary for happiness. I say this all time here. Wealth is not necessary for happiness. Wealthy don't buy. Wealth don't buy. Don't buy felicity. Don't buy happiness. Don't buy love. Don't buy friends. Don't buy loyalty. Don't buy sincerity. No. If you are rich, don't forget that your possessions have been entrusted to you and that you must justify their use as if you were given an accounting of expenditures. Don't be an unfaithful trustee by utilizing your possessions to satisfy your pride and sensuality. Don't think that you have the right to dispose for your soul. Use that is nothing but a loan and not a gift. It's not a gift, sorry. If you are unable to repay it, you don't have the right to ask for it in the first place. And remember that those who give to the poor are settling a debt they have contracted with God. It's so important, this. Those who give to the poor are settling a debt they have contracted with God. But the poor don't must give nothing for this. Who gives the poor who gives to the poor must be go away and nothing more ask for the poor. Go away and forget. And nothing around you must know about this act. This is real charity. No one person will know this to add value to God. Lacordaire, Constantine, 1863, the year. The transmission of will. Thus, the principle according to which humans are only trustees of the will that God has allowed them to enjoy during their lives, take away their right to transfer it to their descendants, it's an ask. Thus, the principle according to which humans are only trustees of the will that God has allowed them to enjoy during their lives, take away their right to transfer it to their descendants. After their death, people can rightly transfer what they have enjoyed during their lives, because the effect of such right is always dependent on the will of God, who can prevent their descendants from enjoying it and whenever he wants. That is why we see apparently suddenly established fortunes crumble. The will of persons to keep their wealth in the hands of their descendants is therefore powerless, although this fact does not take away their right to transfer the loan they have received, since God will take it from their descendants if he deems it appropriate. St. Louis Parish, 1860. Or 1816. And finish this chapter. I hope you like this and have certain all material things is not our really. It's a delusion. It's an illusion. It's just an illusion. Ooh, ooh, ah. It's just an illusion. Material things, earthly material things. It's not. We don't have it. It's an illusion. The great constructor of all the world. It's God and good spirits. But only God have all material things, all spiritual things. We are here to a passage only to this. Here are a planet to grow, to learn it with difficulties in life. This is the great reality. Then I hope you are so good, and I hope you to the next life. Bye. Have a nice weekend.